Saddle up your horses.
Pitter patter, let's get at her. It is another episode of the Manly Broncos podcast, and we are excited because we have the dynamic duo of Eric Vigil and Josh Sherman, or as he likes to be known, Mr. Nobody, over there on the X and in Twitter. We want to say thank you so much for diving in with us. Obviously, over in the top right is my partner in crime, Brandon Miller, over there with the Snapchat filter, behind him. Now, we should paraphrase it before we get a chance to talk with any, of these gents, Josh and Eric. It's worth, asking this question first and foremost.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Yeah, I'm out.
Josh,
Valid. Let's go. Valid.
How did I know you were going to do that? How did I know?
So truly, before we get started, does anyone want to get out? Truly, but who wants to go first? You know what? I'll tell you what, Eric. This is your first time actually appearing on a podcast, and this is your first time even appearing on a Broncos podcast. But I just want to say, first off, thank you so much, man, for hopping on with us. And in the serious vein, we will definitely have some serious moments throughout this podcast. But when did you become a Broncos fan, or like when did you? It's a two-parter. Like, when did you know that you could be a troll on Twitter and people, would laugh at you, like everything like that? But more importantly, like, when did you become a Broncos fan?
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and be like the cliche, I was born and raised a Broncos fan. I was a newborn, bro. That's not how it works.
Hey,
7 years old.
You never know.
Kind of started watching, Sunday morning stuff. Obviously football came on. Obviously, I wasn't the richest kid growing up, so the Broncos were always live, on the local channels. So like 7 years old and on, man. So, I've been grateful. I mean, you guys follow me on Twitter. I've been grateful to see all three. It's been fun. The last 7 years, but yeah, 7 years old, man. And since then, I've just been a diehard. Love this team. Love what they bring to the table in the NFL and all that.
That might be the most positive review of the last 7 years I've ever seen.
Hey, man, that's what I do. That's what I do. You guys see my tweets. That's what I do.
I was expecting, I'm not going to lie, I was expecting you to come out and be like, I was born in it.
I was actually born under Bucky. So do you guys like that answer better? That's how I became a Bronco fan.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
fitting.
Respect.
Yeah.
We have some people in the chat. Looks like Respect My Co's is in the chat. Biggie Bronco is in as well.
Mikey Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hopping in with us. Now he is not a Mr. Nobody, but he is Josh Sherman, as we said. So Josh, you've done podcasts before. It's been a long time, but you also are a I mean,
I was gonna say, didn't he just put out a thing like, making our podcast debut?
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Respect.
Could have been my variant. I don't know.
I'm not paying attention. It was one of you.
How did you become a Bronco fan, Josh?
So, actually, I was about Eric's age when I became a Broncos fan, because there's a lot of Bronco fans in my family. It's like a generational thing with us, because like my grandparents were Broncos fans. My mom and dad and all of their siblings are Broncos fans too. So, growing up in my house, it was always on TV. And I would say my uncle, and he's my cousin's dad. Eric's met my cousin, but my cousin's dad, he was the one that really got me into football, into the Broncos. And, actually, before the days of Dove Valley, Broncos camp was up here. So somewhere in my parents' closet is a shoebox full of training camp photos from like the late 90s and stuff. So it was awesome to go see them in person when they were at UNC. So it's really cool that like the place where I live, Greeley, has that place in Broncos history. So all you Denver snobs on the Twitter machine that make fun of Greeley, be kind, because whether you like it or not, we're in Broncos history too. So be gentle.
I went to UNC, so
oh, then there you go.
I'm right in there. Yeah,
just a couple Jason Aldean fans, I see. Small town.
Don't talk shit about Jason Aldean. Just kidding.
But yeah, like that, I would say that was my big introduction into that, and then the core memories start to flow and stuff like that. Like I remember doing punt pass kick competitions. Did you guys ever do that?
So, that was going on during my I hate football because I'm a rebel and my dad wants me to play football phase. So I was on the basketball court during that, but I kind of regret not. Like, if I could go back in time and talk to myself, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Play football.
Yeah. What about you, Brandon? You got any questions for the guys over here?
Yeah, what's the deal with Mr. Nobody? Is there a story behind that?
You know what? It was just random. Literally,
just came out of
literally, Fast 7 was on one day.
Okay. That's
it.
Just added
The radio silence was deafening.
Yeah.
You're not Bob Odenkirk?
I'm a random person. I
got it.
I don't care a lot. Like I do care, but I don't care. So
right.
I thought there has to be something. Maybe not.
That was it. Literally.
All right. Cool. Cool.
So obviously, with the Broncos, being as bad as they've been for 8 years, it still obviously triggers some memories, some at least positive memories of possibly some players we grew up with, and I feel like the next question to ask, for you guys would be like, who would be your favorite player? And like in terms of the Broncos, like if. So, and Eric, we'll start with you. Like, who is your favorite Broncos player, and maybe who is your current favorite Broncos player right now on the roster?
So I got two favorites. So I actually have a story about the first one, Rod Smith.
Okay.
So my all-time right now is Champ Bailey, but I never got to meet him. So a quick story about Rod Smith.
Hold on. You're saying you got to meet Rod Smith? Is that what you're saying right now?
On accident.
All right, go.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is good.
This is a good one.
When I was 17, 18, around that age, my first job was actually working at the Broncos team store. I got to work at Dove Valley for a training camp, and they had these weird rules. I won't get into that, but you basically couldn't talk to players. You know how that goes, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
So I got lost because I worked with a bunch of a-holes. I got lost. I go to the lunchroom for like lunch. Mind you, I'm like 17, 18. I sit down. And these like gargantuan dudes are like, you can't sit here. And I was like, bro, like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And it was towards the end of his career. So like, I just see this like older gentleman. It's Rod Smith, his knees and his legs. He's all, what's going on here? And they're like, he can't sit here. He's not even part of the team. And he's like, who made that rule? Like, he's like, who put you guys in charge? He's like, I don't even know your guys' names. Like, they were rookies at the time. I don't even know if they made it.
Oh my god!
And I got to eat lunch with Rod Smith because he's like, sit down, young buck.
That's crazy.
It was amazing. The craziest thing ever. Yeah. So
I would literally bring that up at every possible opportunity for the rest
I
of my life.
absolutely do. I was talking to like random people. I was like, I met Rod Smith. They're like, you're not supposed to. I'm like, I met Rod Smith.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Right.
We're boys. And then
That's so funny that it was just rookies. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Champ's my all-time favorite. Dude was a baller. You guys know that. I don't got to get into that.
Yeah.
Currently, I mean, PS2, man. He's the closest thing I've ever seen to Champ. He's easy to root for, man. I mean, if we can lock him down for multiple years, it'll be PS2 timing up with Champ, pretty much.
If he doesn't retire as a Bronco, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Need it.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? Same question. Same
question. I would say my favorite Bronco of the past, even though I never got to really see him play, was Vance Johnson. Because I don't know if you guys know, but he has a hell of a comeback story
Mhm.
of life events and kind of he goes into it like if you ever go to one of his events where he speaks because a few years ago we got invited to a prayer breakfast and he was the keynote speaker and by the time he was done I was blown away and then after he stayed and just talked to you about life and he's learned so much he knows so much he wants to pass that on to anybody who will listen so that's he became my favorite because of that because like the most common one's always going to be like oh John Elway Terrell Davis
Rod
you know how
Smith.
that goes I didn't want to say it I wanted to start off kind
Okay.
I wanted to at least try to be nice.
I got us clocked at 11 minutes. All right.
And what I said when the over under go off the rails, yeah,
we made it. We made it pretty far. I was thinking maybe 5.
What about current player for you, Josh? Like,
oh, I like Justin Simmons. I do, but one that I just am rooting extra for is Tim Patrick because all those Twitter know-it-alls a few years ago said that he's gonna get cut. He's gonna get cut. We don't need him. Blah blah blah. He comes back, and even though we had a shit team back then, he was like the one bright spot,
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, he's kind of going the Klay Thompson route with injuries, one after the other. And I really
don't
think
you put that evil on me. Don't you do
but
it.
it's a valid comparison.
I know.
But he's one that I root extra hard for.
No, Timmy P is. I'm gutted. I hate
right.
that happened to him. Like 100%, no doubt in my mind. If he's in that game, we win.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
I thought about that too.
All I have to say about that.
Yeah. So, Big Mike, obviously the Dulcich's #1 fan, chimes in. He says, this is why the Mountain Time Zone is the best time zone. I'm just saying that right now. This is why the Mountain Time Zone is the best time zone. So, Big Mike, it just furthers our point. This is why Mountain Time Zone's better. So, but anyway, no, thank you so much for hopping in with us. Mikey chimes in, and says, for the T-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Eric, yeah.
Mikey gets it.
So it's all right. So let's get into this. It's tough when you when you lose to the Raiders. It is always tough when you lose to the Raiders, and especially like the Chiefs when you lose to them consecutively. But for you guys, what was the biggest thing or one of the biggest takeaways from this game with the loss that was the Broncos of 17-16?
Oh, just the idiocy of some of those plays on defense where kind of we're expecting the defense to be the anchor while the offense kind of has that grace period of, oh, we're in a new system and we're going to do the best we can. And for me, I was just like, what the hell? Because you got Kareem Jackson out there thinking he's Goldberg. You got Justin Simmons. I was surprised at that because he's not that type of player. And he's not, but he's probably got caught up in the moment. But he was out there looking like Charlotte Flair, trying to do the natural selection on the dude when he was clearly down. It's like, oh, come on.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that because I thought, honestly, both of the calls that went against us for, I don't even know. I think it was like officially it was leading with the crown of the helmet. I thought they were both pretty bullshit, if I'm being told.
I agree. Kareem's looked like just a bang bang play.
Right.
Kareem's looked like he was.
Not his fault. His eyes rolled back. Kareem just hit him.
Yeah.
Kareem's looks like he was trying to aim with the shoulder, and just the positioning of where the players ended up, it didn't come across that way. Which, I mean, I guess if I'm going to give one of them to the refs, I guess it would be that one because it was a scary moment. I mean, even then, still, I feel like it was kind of a ticky-tack call. The one against Justin was like absolutely atrocious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why can't they can't just for 2 seconds review like a slow-mo of it's actually kind of wild to me that refs are expected to make those types of judgment calls in real time after watching something happen in a quarter of a second and not be able to just like confirm it. I mean, I know sometimes like they do, but they don't, right? Because he literally doesn't even touch him. He sails over him. No part of his body makes contact, helmet to helmet or otherwise, with Jimmy G. And Jimmy G like completely fakes, like sells it. Like give that man an Oscar. I mean, and I get again, I kind of get the he was leading with the crown of his helmet. Justin Simmons isn't that kind of player. He's not doing that.
Yeah.
Like the angle of it is all just weird. I don't know. I thought they were both questionable.
I was gonna say shout out Nick Ferguson. He had a great tweet describing, I believe it was the Justin Simmons hit, let alone, I want to say it was maybe even Kareem Jackson's play as well. But yeah, shout out Ferguson in doing a nice little screen grab of, looking at it. Cause like, I think, and I understand it from like the ref side of things. Cause I think that's the part of the thing that does kind of suck is like in real time and it moves that fast. Oh man, in real time, it looked nasty. Like it actually looked nasty, but when you really do, slow it down, it really wasn't as egregious. Both of them really weren't as egregious as, any of the ones that, you would actually see, right? That is just, blatant, helmet to helmet, so, I mean, and I think that's the case where you can make something like, do they send it off to review? Do they review those certain things? Which I think if you do that, you're opening up a whole can of worms. If that's the case, if you're going to be, sending those and, and being challenged, because they already made the case of like challenging pass interference penalties, and that lasted all but like a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that thread. There was some interesting quotes on that one, but
yeah.
I'll throw this out there too. Bill Vinovich hates us. He's always hated us.
Oh,
so if it's like on the line, you can pretty much assume. When I seen his face on the TV, I was like, oh boy.
What were some other things that caught your guys' eye? Obviously, the penalties, as we alluded to, were big. I mean, they had, I believe it was 10 plus penalties. They were undisciplined. I mean, obviously there was the questionable, the personal foul penalties, but when you have X amount of penalties, that's a sign of undiscipline. But I also thought, in terms of I think it's interesting because like it was also a rare game where you rarely see 6 possessions for both teams, and they scored, I believe, on like 4 of those, like both of those teams. And so, frankly, to be a 17-16 game and only having 6 possessions is surprising. And I think that that's where, for the Broncos side of things, it's fascinating to see that it was the defensive side of things that was the biggest problem, right? And I think that that's one of the biggest takeaways as far as the other part of that is not just penalties, but defense. I mean, they just weren't getting off the field on those possessions, and it was so frustrating. Obviously, there was the big hit, but that third down conversion, that third down scramble, the Jimmy G, gave me nightmares to that Cleveland Browns game, where they almost had that game, one where they got the ball back and possibly drive late. It gave me the flashbacks to that Cleveland Browns game where they thought they had them dead to rights on like a 3rd and 7, and Dearness Johnson runs for that first down.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got to play hard all the way through.
One thing that negatively, unfortunately, stuck out to me was my boy Damari Mathis, man. I was so high on him going into the year because he looked like he was kind of putting it together especially the preseason, but kind of the end of last year. He was like, okay, yep, this is going to be, your cornerback across from PS2. You're going to have a great duo. I And then you got Justin Simmons, obviously Kareem Jackson at the safety positions. And then Caden Stern's like, oh my God, I'm completely just heartbroken for that man. But
we'll talk about
Amari
that.
Mathis
Yeah.
was bad. That's
Yeah.
the nicest way I can say it. And I hope he rebounds and comes back. And saying Bassey was pretty good. But DeMar Mathis, we got to get that cleaned up. Like, he's got to play better, or we got to go find some other way to fill in that second cornerback spot, because it's actually ridiculous. For so long, we have that just like elite defense, which I feel like most fans just don't understand how insane it is to have that good of a defense for that long, because elite defenses do not last. Ironically, Legion of Boom. But we've had a great defense for quite a long time, and it's kind of starting to slip a little bit. Again, one game, I'm not going to completely overreact. The pass rush we'll get into, but it's kind of funny because the offense was finally the side of the ball we really have almost no concerns from that game, at least just watching the game. And the defense is the one that throws it away. It just is.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's almost poetic. In
Mathis
like
played
an
cornerback
evil
like
way.
me.
Yeah, I should have gone out there.
Oh man,
I've never played cornerback. So, I mean, to bounce off Brandon though, like that was kind of like my fear out of it, because I mean, we can all sit. I'm not a stats guy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, you guys can tell me stats, and I'm gonna look like that black cat in the TikToks. I'm just gonna stare at y'all. My eyes, it just sucks because like Brandon said, I don't want to become that team where like all of a sudden our offense is going to look competent, even though we need it, and then the defense slouches. Like, I need a Broncos that's at least like a complete team all around. Because like he said, elite defenses don't last. And if we keep playing like this, our boy PS2 might not resign.
Don't.
You know, it's true. You know how that goes.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and Lance chimes in here with an interesting point too. DeMar Mathis made Jacoby Myers look
Jerry Rice.
No, like Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is what I was going to say.
They switched jerseys.
Jacoby Myers went, like, I don't know if you guys remember when he was a Patriot, I think 2 years ago, a year ago. There was like that running joke of, okay, is this the week Jacoby Myers is going to get a single touchdown? And it went like 13 weeks or something. And then he goes up against Amari Mathis and looks like an elite player. He's going to come back down to earth the next week. Like, I would not pick up Jacoby Myers in fantasy. I'm just going to say that much.
Absolutely not.
But just please, Damari Mathis, like, get it together. Please be a fluke game, because we'll be having some issues there.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, we'll get into it.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? What did you feel about Damari Mathis?
I agree with Brandon. Like, you gotta play better. I don't know what it is. I don't know, and they're probably gonna get into film and all that good stuff because it's a weekly grind for those guys. But if we come out against Washington looking like the same, especially his spot, it's time to get on the phone and maybe get somebody in here. I don't know who that would be at this point.
I think what's also fair to bring up, and we talked about this on 5280 last night, but it was like, it's still worth bringing up that it's only week one, and so you don't want to you don't want to have too much of your week one overreactions, like dropping your phone and
I thought I was gonna do that too.
I keep getting like the notification, and I'm just like, what?
I was so worried that I was gonna do that. So it's like, whoo.
If anyone in the chat, I think Bree's in the chat, she has seen me drop my phone on count. This is nothing new.
But I was gonna say it's at least worth pointing out that it's week one, and so the overreactions we saw it all the time, on Monday, and like immediately, following, I mean, like that was just
She's wanted to talk with her broken pinky, but we'll talk about that later.
That was just Eric impersonating Melvin Gordon for why he's not a member of the Denver Broncos.
Bro, if he name searches and he comes after me, Cam, this is on you.
Yeah.
He already name searched me before, and basically, was coming after me, and so that there's a running joke between me and Patrick Coyote.
Oh, yeah, when are you guys going to do the Oklahoma drill?
Yeah, about doing the Oklahoma drill between me and Melvin Gordon. So there's already
I want to race his brother down Spears, so we're good.
Yeah.
Couple shots and we're good.
Oh my god!
Hold up. If you guys do the Oklahoma drill,
there will be a paramedics nearby. Yes.
He's gonna fumble. Cam's going to the hospital and he's still gonna fumble.
What do the kids say on the socials now?
I'll see you at your funeral. What?
Yeah.
Name searching? Isn't that a little sus?
But so I was just gonna say, like, to circle back on it, like, there's just a lot of week one overreactions. So obviously, we should call still a spade a spade. Damari Mathis had a really bad game, but we do need to see what he's gonna do next week, because we'll talk about the Commanders here in just a little bit, but like, I think it's worth noting now, like, when you go look at it as far as this last season, Damari Mathis didn't start all that hot to begin the year, but then the point where the Monday Night Football game happened with the Los Angeles Chargers, that's where he was picked on. He had an up and down game, but also he was targeted a lot, which was exactly what you saw in the game against the Raiders. But that following week was when he really picked up and really turned on the Jets and became the corner that we were hoping and expecting, come the start of this regular season. So I'm hoping that we can be able to get to that point. It's just, it is week one. So you don't want to get too wrapped up and you don't want to get too, critical in terms of being like, yeah, he played bad, but there's still that possibility that he can play better.
Right.
Well,
for sure.
There's so much that goes into it. Like, it's a different system. I don't know the exact, how much of a difference it is yet. And obviously I'm not the defensive coordinator, but it's just a different system for him. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's still a very new player. Like, I'm definitely not throwing in the tail on Damari Mathis. It just was, was concerning, but I've seen a lot of hate directed at Vance Joseph too. And I'm just like,
right.
I don't really understand it, to be honest. Like, it's a fine line because there's a lot of blame that can go on coaches, and like Nathaniel Hackett is a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain point, the coach isn't the one going on the field and playing the game. Like, you can have the best defensive coordinator in the NFL and the worst defensive roster, and it doesn't matter how great he coaches. The actual execution on the field is probably still going to be lacking. So,
right.
It might be more of a talent thing than anything else. Like, Vance Joseph is a good defensive coordinator, and like, could I eat these words and he could be completely horrible and blow it up and call some stupid shit? Sure. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm just surprised at the amount of hate I've seen him get after 1 week, when it's like, where is that coming from? How can you just say that, okay, it's Vance Joseph's fault entirely? Like, Damari Mathis was very bad in coverage. The run defense was actually really good, but then you'll look at like the basically non-existent pass rush, and it's not like Vance Joseph wasn't attempting to put pressure on Jimmy G. There could be a lot of things going into play here. Like, one, the Raiders could just have a sneaky great offensive line for all we know. I mean, that could be possible. We've called a lot of blitz and it just didn't get home. It could be, again, the talent of the players on the field. Like, pass rush has kind of been a weakness of ours, to be honest, for the past few years. Like, I love Jonathan Cooper as much as, the next guy, but he still hasn't really shown it. I mean, I know in the preseason he was good. It's the preseason. Frank Clark, who the hell knows? Randy Gregory kind of started out last year hot, but then, like, maybe he's still coming back from the injury. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, the amount of hate that got put on just the coordinator for that is kind of funny to me. That's all I'm saying.
Just in general too, because so it's like after 1 week, everybody's quick to jump on New Year, same result, 17-16. Should have got Dan Quinn. I told you.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn won that game.
No, I think the thing too is like it's also easy for Bronco fans too because let's not forget that Vance Joseph was also public enemy number one for Bronco fans.
Right.
And,
Yeah, well, get over it, dude. Like that
and
was
so-
He was
Right.
a head coach.
right, and as head coach,
So
which
are
is-
a lot of people.
and so I
Yeah.
realize there's some really bad scars, probably maybe still for people with Vance Joseph, but like truly, Eric, you said it. Get over it. I mean, like, go call up a clip that I posted, back when he was with the Arizona Cardinals in Hard Knocks. Like, it was pretty clear he has no ill will for the Broncos at all. So,
Yeah.
and so there
He
was,
literally said, we didn't win.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to win. That's literally it's true.
I think the thing is, sorry, Cam, to interrupt you. The thing was that like rumor of, oh, Vic Fangio is coming back. Great defensive coordinator, but like he didn't get the same hate during that rumor either. What did we win with him as a coach?
I think
Not
part of that.
much.
I think part of that is, and I'm gonna be kind of savage here, but
Ooh.
Go for it.
Oh.
for the average fan who knows like almost nothing about football, seeing the constant praise for Vic Fangio as one of the best defensive masterminds in the history of the game, like you're just gonna and you just don't know anything about what Vance Joseph does. Like they're going to kind of see that through. They're going to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit on that and be like, oh, well, he's just an amazing defensive coordinator, and I have no problem with him coming back, even though he was a horrible head coach. I mean, honestly, I think that's part of it. If we had Dan Quinn, Rex Ryan, Brandon McManus, and Alberto who won the game, absolutely. Yep. That's it. That's what it is.
Don't forget KJ Hamler now, Big Mike. Don't
Oh, yeah,
forget KJ.
Hamler.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I said this after the game, and even I texted this to Cam after he like also messaged me. He was like, what do you think? I still think people care too much about the score. Yes, it sucks. We lost. I know we lost the Raiders again. I'm about to punch my TV. Okay, I get it. And it was by 1 point. It was the same score, whatever. Like everyone's like, oh my God, same score. That means it was exactly the fucking same. Did you watch the game? Because
Exactly. That was a lazy take.
the eye
Such a
test of
lazy
that
take.
game, like the offense looked good. Russell Wilson looked like old Russell Wilson.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I mean, there's going to be, I've seen people complain about, oh, it was a dink and dunk offense. Not really. He took quite a few shots. There were some shots that just didn't develop. There was a couple players that stepped out of bounds. And then who's the guy that it was like a Dorsett. Yeah. It was like that cover shot, the whole shot on the sideline, and Dorsett stepped out of bounds, and that would have been like 30 yards. And then there were also a lot of dump offs to the running back, but like you can't just take shots all game and expect to win. Like that's an incredibly low percentage like shot. You can't just expect that to hit every time. Especially when we've seen like the issues of people like going out of bounds. Sean Payton is going to rip people a new one when they're watching that film. Is like, okay, this is the fucking line. Don't go over the line.
Yep.
But I mean, just watching the eye test, it looks very improved. So that whole, well, it's the same score and 16 points. Again, get over it. It's a number. Watch the damn game.
It is.
I saw another then I'll let you go. Let me just.
He's fired
finish
up, Cam. Let
me finish my.
We got to let him breathe.
I can actually see the steam.
Mama, there goes that man.
I saw. Did any of you watch the Bears game?
Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Somewhat. Yeah.
Justin Fields looked like one of the worst passers of the football I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And like, to be fair, that entire offense is literally garbage. Like some of the plays I just don't even understand. But I saw someone, and this is just like the daily Russ hate, but someone ranked Justin Fields as a better quarterback by multiple ranks than Russell Wilson. I'm like, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
But Brandon, he had that 120 whatever yard preseason game. He was going to be a Hall of Famer again after that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah, the three passes where all three of them were the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
That one.
That was.
I'm not knocking it because we built that same high-powered offense around the same play scheme in 13. So I'm not going to completely knock it, but yeah.
I mean, and I like Justin Fields. Like, I'm not saying again he can turn. That was funny to me because he literally looked horrible. There was one play he hit his offensive lineman in the helmet with the football.
So the thing I was going to say too is like for those week 1 overreactions and the Broncos scoring 16 points, Raiders scoring 17. If you actually take a glance to all the other stuff that happened around the NFL, there were other low scoring games that happened.
Was a weird week.
In the NFL. So it's like, it wasn't just a Denver Broncos thing. I mean, you had 17-16, 17-16, Raiders over the Broncos. You had 15-16 Titans and the Saints. You had 16-20 the Commanders and the Cardinals, who, by the way, that was a pitiful performance by the Commanders against a team that's tanking, for the Cardinals, and you have Seahawks who put up 13. And was it the Panthers put up 10, Vikings put up 17, Bengals put up 3. I mean, it was just a really weird weekend overall for scoring points for some of the playoff teams that were out there. And so I think that, I'm really curious to see what they definitely do. Obviously, I think the dink and dunk was, also probably a reason because of the pass rush for the Raiders and trying to kind of neutralize it a little bit too, which I said it last night, but don't be surprised if that's the exact same game plan against the Commanders. We'll talk about that a little bit later, just because of their nasty pass rush that they have in Washington. But I mean, I don't know. I was definitely, happy with the way things went out. Cause I mean, as far as the way you saw him run the football, you saw how Samaje Perine, I will say, immediately had some rough moments early on, but then he really got his momentum going, and you really saw those tough yards and everything. And Javonte seems like he's getting, better, and, it seems like they're really, load management, they're doing a really good job with him. So one thing, obviously, that was a huge no, of course, is something, and, this was the joke when Big Mike brought it up with McManus, but special teams. Before we talk about the special teams, what was your guys' initial reaction to the onside kick? Because we haven't actually had a chance to talk about it here, I should say, on the network. But what was your guys' take on the onside kick? I will say I liked it. It didn't result the way that we certainly wanted it. It was very close, but I loved the balls that you saw from Sean Payton with that onside kick.
Me too.
Yeah, I loved it. I had no issues with it.
Me neither. And again, this is the Bill Vinovich effect. Because to me, it looked like close. But then again, who's refereeing the game? And he's like, no. That's not part of the script. You don't get to do that.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
I loved it, man. That's what I like. I don't like traditional football all the time. The kickoff onside kick first, dude, that's ballsy, especially against Sean Payton knows we hate the Raiders. He knows we hate the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That's ballsy, and I loved it. I mean, like Josh said, to me, like Brandon said, watch the game. To me, we got it. Pass is the pass, though. But I loved it.
It was a judgment call. Yeah,
I loved it.
It was toeing the line for sure. But I mean, yeah, I love going out there and taking a shot, making a statement. Again, the wheelbarrow balls moment from Peyton. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure some people probably do. Oh my God.
Now,
that's a stupid call. Who cares?
Now, the way that I
you know what? If we scored on that, they would have said he's a genius. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So and I preface this by saying, I definitely don't disagree, with the idea to do that onside kick, right? Because I loved it. I love the idea to do the onside kick there. Now, what I thought was unfortunate was I hope that onside kick didn't result in bad momentum for Will Lutz, right? And and so I think that to use that as a transition, I hope that didn't give him negative confidence when he was kicking those field goals. Now, I want to preface this by saying that it was a pitiful performance. It's something that, you want to see a difference in terms of Lutz and the way he's performing. but he didn't start off his first game in a Bronco uniform the greatest. And I will say this: if there's any argument to be made about McManus, it should never be leaned toward McManus. It should be actually leaned more to Brett Maher, that they didn't exactly give them Brett Maher the chance to be the kicker, going forward into the season, and then making the change and, maybe, going for Will Lutz as the kicker, or whoever they had in mind a kicker, just because it seemed like Maher was, getting warmer as the preseason was, nearing an end, and, he was making his field goals. It seemed like he was, kicking rather consistently. And so, but I think too, when I say I preface this, is that it's kind of like the way I use this comparison. It's like an outfielder who is adjusting to a new ballpark. I think that when you have a kicker and he's adjusting to a new kicking environment, when you've been kicking indoors your entire career for New Orleans, it's a whole new ball game. So for Will Lutz, I hope he can bounce back, but man, it was definitely not a good first impression by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh yeah, I mean, anyone who watched the game can agree to that, but it also boils down to, I don't want to be that team that relies on the kicker like that anymore. Granted, I get it. Chad's probably going to say something. I get it. 1 point, extra point. Yeah. I get it. But, like, I don't want to become that team where it's like, we got to rely on the kicker again. Like, he's got to go out there and kick 55 yards,
True.
I want to score touchdowns. I want to score points. Plain and simple at the end of the day as a fan. So I get what you're saying, but I think he'll be all right. I really think Lutz will be all right. Like, he's played with Peyton half his career. He's going to be okay.
I mean,
go
ahead.
Sorry. I think people forget how bad McManus, or I don't want to say bad, but inconsistent McManus was when he first started too. He's remembered as a clutch kicker, which he did turn out to be more or less a reliable kicker, but when he first started, it was rough.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been rough the past couple of years, if I'm being honest. But I mean, Will Lutz thing, it sucks, but does it contribute to why we lost? Sure, but I'm not going to say that that's the entire reason we lost. And I know you can, again,
make the case,
1 point, 1 extra point, whatever. If Adam Trautman runs forward another 2 feet, we get a first down. If Samaje Perine runs forward another 2 feet, we get a first down. Like, it's all the little things. But I don't know. That's just what I think about it. Does it suck? Yes. Again, it's 1 week. Kicking seems to be kind of a problem in the NFL, if I'm being honest. You don't want to rely on the kicker, but unfortunately, there just are some times you kind of have to.
Right.
And it's just, it is what it is. But like, Will Lutz has a history of being a good kicker. Obviously, Sean Payton has to trust him in order for us to give up. I mean, I know it was like a 7th, but to give up something to get a kicker, which, I mean, again, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but Sean Payton clearly trusts him. I trust Sean Payton. I don't want to be like one of those fans that says stuff like that, but Sean Payton is one of the best offensive coordinators or offensive coaches in the league. Like, I mean, I'm going to trust him. He's forgotten more about how to win than I'll know in my entire lifetime.
Brandon's trying to say he's not a couch GM. Okay. Like, that's,
like me. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I got it.
For people listening, he's basically saying
I am in April. That's about it.
Yeah, right. Well, and I'm trying to, like, and the reason why I kind of phrase it what I do for Will Lutz is like, I get it, and it's just like, it's just one of those things like you just don't want that thing to persist. I do think he's going to definitely kick a lot better. It's going to take a little bit of some time for him to adjust to that new field and everything. So give it some time. I think that he'll perform better. So closing out, it is unfortunate that we do have to talk about some injuries. Caden Stearns, we mentioned him a little bit. Caden Stearns is gone for the season. You're gutted for the guy because he was just ready for that big year in that safety room. It seemed like he was going to be that starter for this Denver Broncos, safety room with Kareem Jackson, which, funny enough, here we go again. A Kareem Jackson and a late training camp signing surprise, ends up being a very good signing once again, in terms of bringing him back just for safety depth. And of course, he has a huge interception in the end zone off of a deflection, but you're just gutted for the guy. Here's a guy that was going to probably be one of your X factors on the defense, a versatile player built in the same vein as Justin Simmons with the way he is as a safety. Devastated for that safety room.
I hate it here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brutal. It's like I don't have to say everything. You said it all. But you also, as a fan, like, you got a next man up mentality. We have, I think, what's his name? JL Skinner. We might not have seen him this year.
Yeah.
Sometimes injuries are a blessing for other players that we have to just see what they have. Preseason isn't enough for these players. So it sucks. I hope he can come back because that injury blows like recovery time. So, I mean, hopefully we see Stearns in a Broncos jersey next year at the earliest. But, I mean, we just got to look at that next man up. We can't, like, it's like TP. I mean, granted, our receivers are beat up, but you just gotta. It's next man up, man. It's the NFL. Like, this is your chance for someone else. It sucks, but it's true.
I guess if you have to get hurt, I guess if you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but for that kind of timetable, if you have to sit out that long, I guess now's the time. Because then, if you get hurt like later on, it really messes up 2 seasons instead of just 1.
Yeah. Or you could just be like Javonte Williams and take a, super soldier serum and, be back, better.
Adrian Peterson 2.0 somehow. I didn't even know.
Beast.
I was like, oh, okay.
He looked good.
He looks great, though.
He looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks great.
Yeah. So one injury, of course, that is of note is Greg Dulcich injured his hamstring, but
the same hamstring.
But I will say the same hamstring. But for whatever it's worth, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see Mike Kliss's tweet today, but he was working on the side. It's Wednesday, and they've decided still not to put Greg Dulcich on short-term IR. So that tells me that Dulcich is built different. Bo Lowry of that training staff is built different. He is the hamstring god for this team because clearly Jerry Jeudy was close to getting ready for Sunday. And it seems like he's trending in the right direction to play for the Commanders game. I think it's very possible we escape disaster possibly with maybe Greg Dulcich. Obviously, you're kind of waiting for some of the final diagnosis. And because I say this, tomorrow they're probably going to announce Dulcich for short-term IR. But it's looking really good for what was his nickname? Big Mike's in the chat, but what was the nickname, Brandon?
Oh, the Croatian sensation.
Oh, yeah.
Again, where's my shirt? I mean, it sucks. My biggest thing is even if he's trending in the right direction, is like kind of somehow on the field, just don't rush him back. Hamstrings are just the most notoriously finicky injury for everyone, but especially skill position players. Like, just take your time. Adam Troutman, learn how to run straight. Okay. And then that guy that we're bringing up from the practice squad, Kroll, he had like some kind of ungodly preseason with the Saints where he had like 6 catches, like 102 yards and a touchdown or something. That guy, I mean, I know it's again preseason, but he seems to be at least some kind of athletic weapon. And then, I mean, everyone wants to talk about shouldn't have traded Alberto. Revisionist history. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get cut.
I just need Troutman not to run like Cam and we win. But whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
Kroll it is.
Oh, he pulled it in high school too? Oh, God.
Brutal.
I hate it.
Like Broncos Twitter needs another reason to circle the wagons.
Don't put that on Twitter, man. I'll look up with 14,000. Oh, we should have kept Alberto. Alberto did he even play a snap for the Eagles?
Who was a
No,
healthy
he was
scratch
inactive
for Philly, just so you know.
Right.
Dallas Goedert wasn't good, so
Yeah.
if Alberto doesn't play on tomorrow, then
we win.
Is he good? I'm kidding. I like
Yeah.
him. I like him.
I liked him. I mean, but again, that was
George Payton should have had the time stone.
Yeah, that
All
was
his fault.
3 coaching staffs that didn't see it in him. I don't know. Anyways, go ahead, Cam.
You know what? I mean, I think the one argument for Albert Okwuegbunam, it's the Trinity Benson argument. Like it's, you can definitely see the argument, that maybe he did enough to stay on the roster, but there's a side of you where, like, if you're offered the kind of deal that they got for Albert Okwuegbunam, are you really saying no?
Yeah, have we not been pounding the table for draft picks for 2 years now?
Yeah, so it's the Trinity Benson argument, at least for like revisionist history and with George Payton and with the Broncos, because and of course Trinity Benson, like, he was a great receiver in preseason and camp, but sadly he's not really materialized much with Detroit, with that trade and everything. Yeah, Brandon?
Not yet, because Detroit looks legit.
Yeah,
Coach of the year.
Detroit looks nice, but yeah.
All right. We like I said, we kind of lumped them together where we talked a lot about the game, but who were some standouts? We did talk about some of the positives, but what were some standouts from this game, and like in terms of like individual performance and from the stuff that we saw? Obviously, let me preface this by saying, who were some standouts besides Russell Wilson? Because Russell Wilson's going to be getting, I feel like, the fair amount of praise here because of his performance, and again, rightfully so, because he looked incredible. I mean, his EPA, I think he had him in the top 5, which, I mean, that's your estimated points, average. I think from when attempt, yeah. So Russ is probably going to be your number 1, but who are some other standouts for you guys?
Garrett Bowles looks like pre-injury Garrett Bowles. And I love it. Like, he was kind of a bit rusty when he came back, but that game, he's looking like a good tackle again. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
If I do that, my phone will fall, but yeah.
I'd piggyback off that and say the line, because Russ looked like old Russ. He was able to move around the pocket and wait for routes to develop, and kind of pick the best one like that. I think it was the second touchdown. That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful.
I hate to use this comparison, but it's like, because you're talking about like one player versus an entire unit, but like it reminded me a little bit of Alex Singleton. Alex Singleton was terrible in preseason. Like he was terrible last year in preseason, but then like once week 1 hit, the light went on and he was a different breed, like the entire season. And he played really well. So for the offensive line, if you look at preseason, they were Swiss cheese. I mean, there were holes everywhere. And, and with the first game, if this is the start of what we see for the rest of the season, you're talking about a borderline like top 10, maybe 8 or 9, like offensive linemen, or offensive line, like in the entire league. Like, that's a pretty stout offensive line. And so to get that for a steady amount of games, I think is the goal. And, if you can piggyback off of what you saw, because and the thing is, it wasn't just Garrett Bowles. Ben Powers was pretty good, except for the lone play in the screen game, that was probably more of a terrific play by the defender than it was, Powers. But Cushenberry looked really good, right? I mean, like Quinn Miners,
right.
Miners was probably their best lineman, maybe of the day. McGlinchey even was pretty solid. In terms, when you're going up against Max Crosby, you're going to have your moments, and everything. But I mean, for the most part, I thought he played pretty well. So nice outing, definitely, for the offensive line.
And that's what preseason's for, right? To work out the kinks. It's your chance to look awful.
Yeah.
And that's still what a big percentage of the Twitter feed doesn't understand. But that's your time to get it all out. And I'm glad a lot of our starters played.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a subtle point, by the way, because obviously, to piggyback off of Russ for just a second, Joe Burrow looked like trash. Josh Allen looked like trash. And the there was the other one. Patrick Mahomes wasn't himself. Obviously, he didn't have
here comes the asterisk. Here we go. Cam Tirico, everybody. Cam Tirico.
He didn't have Travis Kelce, but like he didn't look great himself. So if you would have told me, and Brandon said earlier, week 1 was so weird. If you would have told me that like all 3 of the top quarterbacks, Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen would have like almost poor performances, I would have laughed in your face.
For sure.
So
Joe Burrow was benched.
Yeah.
In the middle of that game.
Was it middle? Because I thought it.
Last quarter.
Okay.
I mean,
he
was that whole team was he had 82 yards.
Yeah.
My standout was actually a person who carried it over from preseason, and that's little Jordan Humphrey. Like, he looked good. He looked really good. Like, we obviously didn't have Judy, we didn't have Patrick. Mims looked nice, but if we can get little Jordan Humphrey more involved, I think we might have something with him right there.
I agree.
So, question for you, Eric. Did you actually, were you going to say little Jordan Humphrey, or was it because Denise said little Jordan Humphrey?
So what's funny about her is it's actually funny she brought that up. So we were actually at training camp, and she's a girl, but she knows sports. She was just like looking. She's like, I think 17 is going to be good. And I was just like, who the I was like, oh, that's little Jordan. She's like, yeah, he's going to be good. So she was right so far.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of little Jordan Humphrey, for news, he was promoted to the 53-man roster today. In a roster move. So he definitely did not play a little
Don't do
role.
it, Cam. Don't do it.
Too late.
Brandon's just sitting in the back, just what did I sign up for?
Brandon's got the angry Ms. Girl face. He's just pissed.
What about you, Brandon? Who was one of your standouts?
I'm still just thinking about what you just said. I already talked about bold and minors. Good. Adam Drummond was decent, other than, again, he needs to learn how to run forward. Cortland Sutton was okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like, he's got to step up more. I talked about it before, but if we're gonna see 2019 Cortland Sutton, like if there's any time when we need 2019 Cortland Sutton,
it's now.
It's 4 years ago, but it's now. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, I'm super excited to get him back, but Cortland Sutton's gotta show something. I mean, Javonte Williams, like, I think I saw a couple reports from Twitter doctors, whatever you want to think about that he there's, he's back, but there's no way that he's completely healed, or there was something that they saw that he did that was he's not 100%. He looked pretty 100% to me.
Yeah.
He's got
those Twitter doctors. They know everything.
Well, I mean, they had the Achilles that we'll talk about, but Javonte Williams looked just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think he's only going to get better. But I am so excited to have him back.
I was going to say,
I mean, he's not to be the Russ corny, but if Cam already went there, he's got that Wolverine blood.
Right. So I was going to say P. Ryan. You said Javonte Williams. I was going to say P. Ryan. Because I think if you look at it just from, that backfield, you got a nice little glimpse of what that duo is going to be, right? You got a nice little glimpse of what it's going to be, which is, just when you think that Javonte is going to be the lone back that's going to punch you in the mouth and rip your helmet off and break your teeth, and Samaje P. Ryan's going to basically be that type of back for you. So just when you think you just have one, P. Ryan's going to be, maybe that, and maybe just a bit more. So because there was a tough run that he had where he broke almost 3 tackles and ran for like 7 yards or something. Like it was a tough, hard-nosed 7-yard run for P. Ryan. And you got a chance to see what he can be able to do in the passing game, which I think was such an underrated aspect of his game. And so I really do think that we got a nice little glimpse on the offensive side of the ball for what they could operate in the passing game. Now, I will say, going forward, and this is where the Judy thing really does come in, I do hope that you do see more of those big plays down the field. Like I love those plays to the running backs. Don't get me wrong, but when you're doing it, every second play, I'm joking when I say that, it's just a frustrating watch, right? But I'm definitely I know Aaron Rodriguez chimes in and mentioned about McLaughlin having a little bit of a little impact in the game. I will say I was a little bit surprised we didn't see enough of him, but I guess when you have 6 possessions, it's kind of hard to
for sure
find room for McLaughlin in there. But P. Ryan is my standout.
Nice.
Again, if he can learn to run forward.
I was just gonna say, you compared him to Javonte. Javonte runs extremely forward, but we're good.
Okay, well, so since the 3rd and 1 run that he had, where he didn't run forward, where he decided to, instead of running forward and just bulldoze the guy, he decided to juke a defender and, decide to, make it 4th and 2, basically. So,
I also think he played pretty well, and I'm just
played good.
Pissed about that one. But there was also that it must just be personal for him, because there was that one play where he couldn't even get to the line of scrimmage. You guys see that? The line of scrimmage kept moving forward in front of him on the TV broadcast.
Yeah.
He was chasing the line of scrimmage, and he never got there. He must have just been super pissed from that moving forward. Just like,
wasn't it like a 10-yard run, or like it was a really long run?
It was like a 10-yard run. It just keeps going forward. Like, God damn it.
I was like, I don't think I understand the rules anymore. I thought he had to pass that, not chase it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Now the first
They're trying something new this year.
The points.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of is it the Geico commercial where it goes, "Oh, you almost had it."
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminded me of. So now let's go forward, and we'll do a look now to the Washington Commanders. So this one's tricky. So as we said, in terms of when we brought in the score to this, Washington did not play so hot against a team that was tanking. And they put up 20 points. It seemed like definitely a struggle game. Sam Howell played exactly like QB17, coming into the draft, and so I'm just curious, and it seemed like he was pressured a lot in that game. So I think if there is a time where you can be able to create a lot of design blitzes and get to Sam Howell, this has to be one of those games, right?
Yeah, this will be a good bounce back game for sure. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I just want a moment where, I know that they're obviously like he's not Aaron Donald, but I just want a moment. I want Zach Allen to be mic'd up, and I want a moment where he's coming on delayed blitz up the middle, and you hear Sam Howell go, "Oh my God!"
Oh my God!
Throw it away. And I cried when I first saw that.
Oh, I watched it on repeat. I was like, no way.
Geno Smith is the most. That was Geno Smith is everyone. That is everyone's reaction. Yeah. He's just like, look up. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So Happy good. Gilmore.
Anyway, no, I definitely think like this is kind of a get right game for the pass rush. Washington's offensive line isn't fantastic. The one thing I will say that honestly does kind of concern me, like even though it's Sam Howell, is Devontae Adams. That was a tough ask. PS2 can go up against him, but and Damari Mathis making Jacoby Myers look like Devontae Adams. I think the Raiders have obviously more of a top end talent at wide receiver, but Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, but they scare me, to be honest, because like you can only put PS2 on one of them, and if Damari Mathis has to go against Jahan Dotson, I'm going to start him in fantasy, and I'm going to clinch a little bit.
Curtis Samuel too. They have a rather
Curtis
sneaky
Samuel.
trio.
Yeah, they have pretty good weapons. So I'm low key concerned about that. I mean, I still think we win the game, but I just think whoever PS2 is not guarding, unless Damari Mathis can get his shit together, or we come up with some other, way where you have to kind of cover that guy. Whoever PS2 is not guarding is going to have a good game.
Well, like you guys just said too about the pass rush, I think if we can get that going, that's going to help the secondary tons because they work as a unit too. The secondary will have a pretty easy day if the quarterback's on the run, has to get rid of it if he doesn't have his favorite option. It's a unit game on the defense for sure. Yeah.
They definitely feed off each other, and we got to have that pass rush getting home, or at least creating more pressure, in order to affect the passing games. Like you're completely right. I definitely, I think if we can shut down Josh Jacobs to the point that we shut him down, and I don't know, what his, I guess, fitness level was like coming from that holdout. I'm assuming it looked like he was still training, but Brian Robinson's a pretty good running back, but I'm not really worried about him at all. I think if we could shut down Josh Jacobs, that it's going to be on Sam Howell to do something. And again, it's Sam Howell, but I do think he has some good wide receivers. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens there. I do think we win the game. I think the offense continues to kind of come, full circle and be good. Now I just need the defense to do what it's done for the past 7 years and also be good.
Right.
Yeah. I think you guys already covered defense. I'm not going to bore them with that. The offense, man, you keep going and you just show these fans you can score. I mean, the addition of Judy, hopefully he's back. Speaking of Judy, shout out to Mikey. I don't know if you guys ever see his video. It's hilarious because you can't hear the lyrics. It's just straight bass. But we're
going on number 3 now.
Huh?
Number 3 of you dropping your phone.
So I have it on the box, but whatever.
Did the overhit?
Mikey shares the best Judy hype videos. If you guys don't watch them, I'll share them. Best. Yeah. But yeah, you get Judy back, and I mean, I want to see this offense rolling. Because you're rolling.
Me too.
Will Lutz is kicking extra points. Twitter's going to be quiet.
We got to get in a groove.
You get that groove, you get Russ, and you get Judy. I need Sutton to be a high point receiver again. We can get that going. You get Lil Jordan Humphrey. Troutman doesn't run like Cam again. I mean, you get the running backs. The offense is there, and we all know this. We're all fans. The offense is going. The defense feeds right off that. They don't want to be out there half the quarter anymore.
Yeah,
give it back to Russ.
We got to have at least 9 possessions on offense.
Right.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because Mike Klisch just dropped an article that said Judy appears ready. So, I mean, we
got Mikey in the chat. Judy was already healed.
Well, I mean, I was saying Mike Klisch.
Oh no, Mikey's my personal Judy injury report. If Mikey reports it, it's fine.
Okay. I understand. Salute. I
just want to see Courtland Sutton Moss someone again, man.
That's all I want, dude.
Right.
Just bully someone.
We're so
can't
close.
Tell me he doesn't play against PS2 every practice. Come on, dude.
Well, that's kind of the other underrated thing about not having Judy out there is you kind of get into a situation where you can't really let Courtland Sutton play to his strengths. And I mean, I know again, Judy has been out there and Courtland has still kind of been not as good, but Judy is the finesse guy. He's the guy that's going to, he's the great route runner. He's going to take your ankles away. If you're trying to make Courtland be that guy because Judy is out, that's just not his skill set. That's not his strength. He's more of that basketball player, box him out, go up, get it, come down with it, make the 50-50 ball, the 80-20 ball, right? So having Judy back for that, I mean, I think is going to make a big difference. And I'm just so, you know what I really want to see, literally out of anything else in this game, I want to see the true potential of Jerry Jeudy because for so long he's had no quarterback. Last year he had bad Russ. This year we look like we have good Russ or much better Russ at least. And if Jerry Jeudy goes out there and gets 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, I might cream my pants.
I need second game Chiefs, Judy.
Right.
If Russell Wilson doesn't die,
I wasn't going to go there, but it felt real.
If Russell Wilson doesn't die for our sins in that game, we win, and Judy has 3. Maybe he might have had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If Russell Wilson doesn't die for our sins in that game.
Yeah. Well, and if you actually look at it from was it the game against the Chargers?
Yeah.
He might have even had 200 yards receiving. I mean, with the way he was performing in the game, I mean, he put up so many stats in that game. He was like, I mean, you saw so many Twitter GMs post on their fingers that they thought he had 1,000 yards receiving after that game because he put up so many yards. And after that game, that you thought for sure he would eclipse that 1,000-yard mark the way that he was putting up those numbers. So I hope that once you insert Judy there, that you do get the potential of truly who he is as wide receiver 1. He is wide receiver 1 in this team. He's the true separator. He is the true player that can really, break the top off of this team in so many different ways. So I'm excited to see what he can be able to provide within this offense. I'm going to go a little bit of a step further back to the defense just for a second. And one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about is with Sam Howell and, his ability to run the football. I'm very curious to see if we see also more of Drew Sanders in this game. Drew Sanders was non-existent. He had like 0 snaps. He had the exact same fantasy points as Marvin Jones. I mean, like it was ridiculous. In
do you have Drew Sanders?
No. But I just think that if you look at with what he could be able to provide, pass rush, interior, from the inside, pass rush for that linebacker, I'm curious to see if we see him a lot more with this game in terms of even generating pass rush more. So Drew Sanders is the guy that I'm kind of like really looking at, and especially since it seems like this week they're kind of hyping up more Sanders. So it seems like they're kind of bracing for this idea that Sanders is going to have a little bit more of a role, for this team, come week 2 and hopefully beyond.
Well, apparently there's a package that we didn't see in preseason for him. So, I mean, week 2, might as well show it.
Well, if you're gonna have the risk of Sam Howell going out there and running the ball, you got to have someone that, not that Sam Howell is Lamar Jackson, but you got to have that athletic guy that can go get him.
And if he picks a pass off, hold on to the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just literally don't even run. Hold on to it and fall over.
Fall down.
Yeah, just lay there. Yeah. We'll handle the rest.
I think with the film, especially on defense after this week, there's a lot we left on the table. So I'm open to anything to help us play better week 2. So if he's the man, put him in.
Before we dive into our NFL Pick'em, which is going to be a new segment this year on the Mainly Broncos podcast,
we got to make an intro for that.
Yeah, we will, or find some way where we can do an intro. Let's talk about the NFL weekend. I know we touched on the pitiful performances with the asterisk Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, the asterisk.
That was a beautiful performance. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was amazing.
I'm just telling you what. But yeah, so the Burrow, Mahomes, and Josh Allen had a terrible. What does Charles Barkley say? Terrible.
Just terrible.
Yeah, just a terrible weekend. But I'll tell you, one of the things I was going to talk about too is like the rookies were shining. You saw some rookies shining this weekend.
Zay Flowers is legit, man.
Yeah, he's legit.
He's that dude.
What were some of your guys' when you guys were watching some of the other games, I should say, from this past weekend?
Well, Brandon stole mine.
Yeah, I was going to say Zay Flowers, but I also really didn't watch any. I was at the stadium, so I didn't really watch any games besides, your asterisk game. And do you know how bad, can we just talk about real fast? Do you know how bad of a football play you had to have made for Mark Sanchez to tweet at you? Like, dude,
Yeah.
dude, that Josh Allen leap was looking real Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Like it was when Mark Sanchez is tweeting about you.
He's experiencing freedom like Dan Orlovsky. Freedom.
Yeah, like that boy. He's been waiting for that day.
Freedom.
Like he was waiting for that day.
Funny you brought up Dan Orlovsky because that's exactly. And of course it was Jimmy Garoppolo, but like Garoppolo running out of the end zone and tweeting, like freedom.
I'm not alone.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, the one game I did watch was a snooze fest. Like I hate the Cowboys, so that was like, cool, great.
That was nuts, man.
Dak had to get put to sleep for his tattoo and goes out and balls. Like, great, just what I need on my timeline.
Did he ball though, or like did the Giants just implode?
Oh, dude, Cowboy fans will always pick a certain player every week. Just
I
pay
know.
attention to it.
I know.
Yeah. I think this week it's going to be Micah
Shorts
Parsons.
and the We Dem Boys are showing out in force.
Yeah.
Well, but I was going to say, so you had some rookie performances. Jordan Addison got his first touchdown.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was basically their lone highlight. I may be kidding, but like their lone highlight against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And with the Buccaneers actually beating the Vikings, whoever had that one on their pick 'em, congrats. But you had Addison scoring a touchdown. Bijan Robinson looks.
I was gonna say, did you guys see Bijan's touchdown? Now Cameron stole mine.
It looks.
My God.
Yeah, it looks legit. And then of course, don't make it your background, Brandon. The Miami Dolphins beating the Los Angeles Chargers. Where
yes, sir.
Tua, Tugalicious, Tagovailoa.
Don't say Tugalicious, dude. Come on. He's out of here.
Tua Tugalicious, Tagovailoa with 400 yards. 466 yards receiving against the Chargers. Should we be worried about the Chargers defense, or should we even be worried about the Dolphins defense? Or like, how are we going to be taking away this game? Like, if you're looking at it from like next week's perspective, or even the Broncos in division perspective.
The Chargers will always be the Chargers to me. They're the little brother that you bully because they just can't do anything right. The Dolphins offense scares me. You have Chubb revenge game, scares me. So yeah, let's make it past week 2.
That's such a player answer.
I love the Chargers picking up right where they left off. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dolphins are legit, and there's a reason I picked them to win the East. Tyreek Hill is just an absolute cheat code. Like, I'm just gonna keep saying it. It's been a thing for years. And I saw someone tweet this, and like the more I think about it, the more I wonder, how did he not break every NFL record when it was him and Patrick Mahomes? I don't get it. Like, he was good, but it seems like he's kind of on another level right now. And I mean, even though he should be in prison, but him on the field, that team is going places.
It's nasty.
That team's going places. And I don't want to hear Tua can't throw deep. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Watch the game.
Oh, spicy.
Watch the game. I don't care if he can't
go
throw
off.
it. He's not Patrick Mahomes, okay? And he's also not Justin Herbert. I don't care. He can make the right read and put the ball where it needs to go. Yeah, maybe not if it's 80 yards down the field on the opposite hash, but you don't have to make that shot all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dolphins are scary just because, like, I think, like, the Dolphins' potential is something that I think is what you could see like the 49ers of the AFC. And that's just because of Mike McDaniel, because, you know, to where it's like when you go look at Brock Purdy, who, I mean, maybe he's that second-year quarterback that takes the leap, you know, in year 2, because he looked phenomenal, in the stretch of games that he was there for the 49ers last year. He looks even better, it seems like, with the 49ers, in that game against Pittsburgh. And, what a pitiful performance for Pittsburgh. But like when you correlate it, like you're talking about but you're talking about like a 49ers system in the AFC, and then obviously the 49ers in the NFC. And it's like, they just schematically do it so well. And for Tyreek Hill, it's almost like you're watching Arena Football League to a certain extent, because it's like with the way they run Tyreek, because the way that he does the motion, he's already set up to go and basically, run his route almost, right? And the way they do that offense. So it's just so, smart with the way that they operate that offense with Tyreek. So I think, yeah.
He's almost uncoverable.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone or Big Mike in the chat here. I am really interested to see that matchup. PS2 on Hill.
Chris Harris
I love PS2, but I don't know if anyone can cover him one-on-one.
Chris Harris Jr., and obviously he was on the decline a little bit with the Broncos. But but he said himself that Tyreek was maybe the toughest wide receiver to cover, because I think, what was it, like he said after the game, in one of the games that they had against the Chiefs, like he covered so much ground just covering Tyreek Hill that it was like he was gassed like in the third quarter.
No, yeah,
I remember that where he was just because it was a scoring play for Tyreek Hill, and Harris was just frustrated because it's like, what else can I do? I can't fly. Yeah. I can't run any faster than I already am. It's frustrating. But unless you're a Dolphins fan, it's great, but it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should have whoever tries to cover Hill man on man wear like a pedometer all game. I just want to see that step count at the end of the game, because it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, it's just like he plays with you. He tires you out, and then he just tells the quarterback, like Shaheed and Carr, just go. Just go. He tires you out, and then he's like, just go. It's terrifying to cover.
I will say now, I'm not going to make the prediction, but because I already feel like, and I'm preaching basically to the choir here, but we all know that Pat Surtain is the best corner in the game, because we're not going to be allowing big yardage to Gabe Davis, on Monday Night Football, or basically like 5 catches for 110 yards and allowing almost like 20 or 30 yards, a play on Monday Night Football. Even though you do win the game, it's still proof that, you are not the best corner in the game, even though you wear number 1 on your chest. So, but I think that what would prove
Cam's coming for sauce.
But I'm bringing the sauce.
Oh, spicy.
But I think if you want to make a case that you are the best, cover corner in the league, and you just, did a terrific job as far as, shutting down Devontae Adams, if he shuts down Tyreek Hill, like the way that Darrelle Revis shut down Megatron.
I mean, if PS2 can shut down Tyreek Hill by himself, he's the best corner of all time.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Is he wrong, Cal?
I don't think it's possible. But if that happens, he's the best corner of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Waddle's going to go for 636 yards and 3 touchdowns, but Tyreek got 20 yards.
And the Broncos won 37.
And the Broncos won 17-16.
Oh, man.
Vance Joseph's the greatest.
I'd be happy that we cleared 16.
So obviously, it is worth noting. Before we do dive into Pick'em, it's worth talking about the elephant in the room. Obviously, I spoke about Sauce Gardner, but how brutal for the Jets, though, because it's like, I think I said it on the 5280 podcast, but I'd be curious to know what you guys' thoughts are. Because, like, from a Broncos fan's perspective, it was like I had a major what if scenario for for what could have happened with Peyton Manning when he signed with the Denver Broncos. Because exactly what the New York Jets were doing is exactly what the Broncos basically did, and everything, bringing all the players in, bringing Dalvin Cook in, bringing Alan Lazard in, bringing Randall Cobb in, bringing the players that he was all familiar with Green Bay and, and Dalvin, of course, but like the what if scenario, if Peyton Manning, who broke his neck, obviously, and was coming to the Denver Broncos, if 4 snaps in, he injures an Achilles or he has a season-ending injury. That what-if scenario, you're talking about a Broncos season that is not just 8 years of just pure patheticness, but like 10-plus years or more of that stupid QB carousel that you always see on the football.
You don't think Brock Lobster would have took us to the promised land? Is that what I'm hearing here?
I don't think he will have, but I am legitimately curious to know what would have happened if Brock stayed in Denver and didn't follow the money in Houston.
That's one that I've always wondered too.
Yeah, no, that's my what if.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have loved us to the promised land, but
bouncing back to Cam's, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if Manning first game against who was it? I don't remember.
Steelers, I think.
It was the Steelers. Yeah, because we just beat them. Dude, I don't know. Because I don't know. Because Tebow was gone, so we didn't really have like that there. Like, oh man, I don't know. That's a good what if. Because I honestly, as a fan, I have no idea. I probably would. I don't know. I'd probably be like a Dolphins fan or something. I don't know.
Dude,
oh man, no more watching what if for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't handle that right now.
Yeah, that
it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Pour the whole bottle out for Jets fans, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this happened to them.
Are you laughing? You're cool.
I'm just like I'm
laughing because he's saying, "Why are you laughing?"
I'm just like,
no. To be honest, Cam,
I'm laughing at how much I can't believe it's happened.
Yeah, Jets fans laughed when TP went out, so they deserved this. Come on,
true.
Just are you calling it karma?
He should have kept my coach's name out of his mouth. No, I feel horrible. He's 39 years old, dude. I don't know if we'll ever see Aaron Rodgers again. I
was gonna say 2 things. One of my questions was: is Aaron Rodgers just done? Because to have, first of all, that shot of him running out of the tunnel with the American flag on 9/11 with the green was cool. Legit one of the most epic things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was cool.
Field. And then 4 snaps late.
4 snaps.
Someone said 5 snaps because the Achilles.
See, the thing with Rodgers is
he didn't complete a single pass as a Jet. And what if he's just done? Jets fans, I am so sorry. And then there was that guy. Did you guys see that guy who's like, Aaron Rodgers will tear his Achilles on a
I saw that too.
In 2.5 hours. 2
I saw that
15 minutes later. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's suspended now. But see the thing
why
with
would
Rodgers,
you even suspend that? He just is
right.
Just a guess. It just happened to be. I mean, it's an educated guess because that field.
The thing with Rodgers, though, and I don't know, maybe the chat could help. I don't know if like snake oil and mushrooms and weed heals an Achilles. Like I don't. Does he need to get the vaccine? I don't know what's going to help this man. He's 39.
He's got to go back to his darkness retreat and just sit there.
Like, is he just going to be hanging
to
out
his cabin
Boulder, till it attaches itself, or he does it himself? I don't know what he's going to do.
They're gonna force him.
Well, one thing's for sure, he can't visit Bo Lowry. He's off limits.
Fair.
That just blows my mind. Blows my mind.
It's and from a football perspective, it's just brutal because obviously from the Broncos side of it and the fan side of it, it's easy to say, it's karma for everything, that went on within the season, but it's just absolutely brutal because like the football part of it's like you put so much into that. And there were some, people even within the national media, whether it was New York or whatever it was, but it was like, there's so many people that just felt like the Jets were like a darling team this year because of Rodgers.
That defense is so legit.
And yeah, so when you look at the Jets going forward, it's like, it's almost a carbon copy of last year because like the defense is legit. And what I'm going to say is like, it's not a knock on Javonte Williams, but it's one of the reasons why I'm also hesitant for Breece Hall. Breece Hall looked about as amazing as Javonte coming off an ACL injury.
Breece Hall looked better.
But in there, but like, I also feel for Javonte Williams, but I also feel for Breece Hall because you're talking, thankfully they signed Dalvin Cook, but like, you're talking about a team that is going to run the snot out of the football 90-10, basically every single. We thought Pat Shurmur was boring, running on first and second down and then passing on third down. Like the Jets are going to be so boring running on first and second down nearly every single game, relying on that defense that not only are the running backs possibly getting tired, but you're putting so much wear and tear on that ACL and legs that you injured for Breece Hall. I just hope he holds up near the end of the season. And then not only that, I hope from a football fan perspective, the Jets don't get gassed the way that the Bronco fans see their defense getting gassed, ever so often, because that's been the huge MO for the last 8 years, right, for the Broncos defense, right, is that they're gassed so often. And so hopefully for the Jets football fan perspective, their defense isn't gassed.
Yeah, good point.
But the worst thing for that fan base is they can't even tank for Caleb Williams. The team is too good.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
they already
the
proved
team
it.
Good.
They
won. They beat the Bills.
They beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Like,
They could tank for Shador Sanders.
No, he's
a
reserved
Bronco.
for Denver.
He and Travis Hunter.
We turned in that card when he was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Broncos
I
are
think
actually going to
too-
have the first and second pick that year. So it's crazy how that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what was it? They made a trade with the Texans. That's right. They acquired the first and second pick.
Nice.
Yeah, because the Cardinals, they're not going to get Caleb Williams, so they decided, we'll give it over to you guys. You guys need it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So someone always has it worse though, with like all the problems, I guess if you want to call them problems that we're dealing with here with our team. Someone always has it worse.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that like a nice little moral message though? Like just when you think you have it bad, someone else has it. Oh, we're on number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Did you see
Number
me
4.
watching it? I was watching it that time. I was like, no. I was watching it that time. I was like, no.
It still fell. I saw it.
Yeah, well, I'm a boomer and I have these wired headphones, so.
Well,
Man.
Where do you even plug them in at?
The bottom of my phone, Brandon. Where do you plug yours in at?
Yes, Cam, it is a moral message.
No, yeah, it's a moral message. It just being just of where like just when you think you had it worse, someone else made it like worse than you. So, all right.
And they also had the kiss of death real fast because I think it was Dalvin Cook. The minute you say super team, something bad's gonna happen.
Did Dalvin Cook say super team?
Someone said super team.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think he said.
No.
They asked him before he signed, like, where are you going? He's like, well, the Jets are. I think he said, I'll look it up and I'll send it. But someone said super team, and I was like, ooh.
Reminds me of the Philadelphia Eagles started that because like that's when they brought in Vince Young and all those pieces, and I believe it was Vince Young who said the super team or someone else. Well, he said it and then someone else said it, and then that's kind of like where the whole phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when the Jacksonville Jaguars and so many other teams decide to copyright no fly zone, but that's a story for another day.
Different sport, but they said that about the Suns this year.
And look what happened.
Oh, they said that again.
Super teams are impossible to do in the NBA with the
All right.
new curtain. Anyway.
All right, guys. NFL pick'em. Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Oh boy.
So no pressure. If you get a game wrong, Josh and Eric, you are not allowed back on the show. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's fine. I think I probably.
I'm getting everyone wrong.
Yeah, I think I got offers rolling in at the bottom. Then.
I'm getting them all wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm all commanders.
Oh, he's gonna go commando. I see.
No, if you get it wrong, you die.
Jeez.
Whoa.
That
I
took
might
a
still
turn.
do it on purpose. I don't know if that way you go.
We
Sorry,
died by
Chad.
one. We died by one chip challenge.
Mm. Mm.
Or
I
hot
think
wing
I did
challenge
that
or
a couple
whatever.
years ago.
Bad.
All
All right, so
all right.
let's start first.
Tomorrow.
Vikings, tomorrow. Vikings and Eagles. Vikings, as we said, were disappointing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. However, they're playing the Georgia Eagles on Thursday.
Kirk isn't in his time slot though. He's not playing at 11 o'clock.
I'm gonna go Vikings.
Ooh. In some way, I wouldn't be surprised about that. The reason why I say that is because it's a Thursday game.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna go
Thursday-
Vikings. I'm gonna go Vikings.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Eagles.
Jalen Carter might kill Kirk Cousins.
Uh,
That's all. You know who else also didn't look super hot though? Jalen Hurts wasn't amazing. Like, I mean,
Well, he
he's
wasn't
still
no
Jalen.
Josh Allen for sure.
No. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
All right. We'll save the Broncos one for last because apropos to when you're on ESPN, the 4-letter network, or like NFL Network, they save the game that they want to talk about last. So we're just gonna do what they do and save that game for last because that's what they do. The Raiders
Fine.
and the Bills. I feel bad for the Raiders.
What the hell schedule are you looking at?
I'm on the ESPN app, you dork.
Oh, mine's a totally different one. All right, go for it.
Just call him Skip, Brandon.
God damn it, Skip.
Damn it, Skip.
I'm
Stephen
convinced
A. Stephen A.
I'm convinced that's a skit now.
I think he just missed his skip, bro.
The Raiders.
All right, Raiders, Bills.
Bills.
It's easily the Bills.
I feel
Like-
bad for the Raiders now.
Yeah.
If Josh Allen is gonna have that get right comeback revenge game for absolutely looking like garbage this
It's
past
the
week,
Raiders. Yeah.
it's this next game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bills.
Especially
I
at
want
home
to
again.
see him tee up Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Now here's one: Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh my god.
Dude, I don't know what to think about the Bengals, man.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to bounce back because they're just that good. But they were like absolutely garbage against the Browns. I don't get it.
But Dobbins just tore his stuff too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. In his,
They're used to not having him. I'm
Jamar
sorry.
Chase.
but-
Jamar Chase in his short time with the Bengals and the successful time he's been with the Bengals. He averages about 115 yards against the Baltimore Ravens. Just
See, I'm not even looking at Chase. I'm looking at T. It's contract. I'm going Bengals.
Who's home?
Bengals.
It's at the Bengals, yeah.
That doesn't matter. Josh Pitt. Dude.
This is one of my flip a coin games. They both suck. I'll just go with the
They
Bengals.
both suck.
They both suck.
They both suck.
Damn.
There it is. And we know, and we officially know why he's a Mr. Nobody.
Ooh. Damn.
I'm going Bengals. I think that that game was too disappointing for them. But if this is the Ravens and for Matty, and he's not here tonight, but like if you want to make hay and be in the number 1 seed, this is the game you're going to have to win, not just for the division, but to get to the number 1 overall seed. So, but I'm still picking Bengals.
Brando.
It's kind of tough. I mean, I think I'm also going to go with the Bengals, but the one thing I'm interested to see is like that Bengals offensive line looked absolutely horrible.
They cut Leo Collins, by the way.
They cut Lyle Collins. Yep. I remember when I wanted him in Denver when he was coming from the Cowboys. Yeah, that was dodged a bullet a little bit there. Jadeveon Clowney and Odafe Owe and all that, those linebackers on that Ravens front might eat Joe Burrow. Like, I'm still gonna go with the Bengals, but that scares me a little bit because that line looks so bad. Like did you guys see that
The
clip
Myles
of
Garrett?
Myles Garrett just like
Dude.
Yeah.
like dancing or doing the basketball crossover
dude.
hezzy
Mhm.
and just like and then just destroys them, like just
Yeah.
eats the center. I don't know why I say him eats so much, but that's what it looked like he did.
Be really hungry.
So I'm super hungry, but I'm scared about that. I still think the Bengals are gonna win, but that'll be pretty interesting to watch.
All right, guys. Do the Kansas City Chiefs rebound against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Jaguars.
I'm gonna say this in the least homer way possible. I think the Chiefs lose again. Like, I don't know if Travis Kelce is going to be out there, but if he isn't, we saw how badly they needed him.
Yeah.
And he's not getting younger.
agree.
He turns 34 this season. And the Jaguars, I was going to bring this up when we talk about the NFL weekend. Trevor Lawrence looks absolutely unreal. Like some of those throws he was making week one were just like, it was a Madden throw. It was ridiculous.
And Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley looks like a top 10 wide receiver. Not even kidding.
He's probably betting on himself.
He probably did. Or he probably was like told his
that would be Awama Owazurike, Eric.
Yeah. Didn't he bet against the team? But
sorry, go on.
Probably. But I'm going the Jaguars. And I'm saying this not even as a Broncos fan. I just think they could legitimately win this, and it's at Jacksonville.
This could be an AFC Championship preview.
Yeah,
it could be, but the Chiefs about to be 0-2. So are they going to the AFC Championship? They probably are. They probably are.
0-2. They're 0-2.
Yeah, they're 0-2.
I don't know how Chris Jones is going to show up. You know?
I
don't know.
Hold out to get a 1-year deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was sitting up there in the press box with the Russian mob, so I don't know how he's going to be playing.
With the Seattle Seahawks hat.
Yeah.
Didn't they say, too, that he's making less money now than had he just signed to begin with? I thought I saw something about that.
Yeah.
I think it was also because they subtracted the money that he's lost with the holdout.
That's right.
Yeah. So, what are you guys? Are you all saying?
I'm going Jags.
Me too. Yeah. Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs, but I think it's gonna be one of those like
Get out. Get out.
Boo! There's the asterisk again.
One of those close games though.
If the Chiefs lose this game, guys, it's an asterisk because Cameron Parker picked us to win.
Yeah, but I picked them, guys. Come on.
Chargers and Titans.
Oh,
I'm going Chargers. The Titans don't look that good, to be honest.
How's Austin Eckler? Is he going to play?
He didn't practice. But you know what? They might not need him because Josh Kelly's legit.
And Joey Bosa, even though he plays for both the San Francisco 49ers now and the Los Angeles
he moonlights. It's the same state.
That's true.
Give me Chargers.
Yeah, I'll take Chargers too.
I was going to say Joey Bosa's a little bit banged up now too again. I'm saying Chargers. The Tennessee Titans are just they're a mess. Ryan Tannehill looks terrible. It won't be long before I think you see Will Levis and Malik Willis actually be getting playing time in 2023. Like Tannehill just looks so bad.
I'm just waiting to see that shot of like Will Levis going out there, has a horrible drive, goes to the sideline. Someone hands him a banana. He just eats it whole and then goes out and it was like a 95-yard touchdown.
or puts a whole thing of mayonnaise in his coffee cup.
Oh.
Jeez.
God.
You guys didn't see that?
No. Why would I look? Why would I actively look for that?
Don't go look it up. Just don't do it.
No.
And they called me a madman.
Packers and Falcons. Jordan Love surprised people with Christian Watson. With no Christian Watson. Luke Musgrave actually looked pretty good. What?
This one might be really interesting. This might be fun to watch. I definitely think you go ahead with your pick first.
Go ahead, guys.
I'm gonna roll with the Falcons.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Packers. I feel like Love has a lot to prove.
Okay. So I will say Packers. I will say Packers.
I do think it's going to be the Packers, but I think they're going to make it. The Falcons are going to make it ugly. Like the Falcons are going to go out there and run on like 85% of their snaps on offense, and they're going to slow the game down, and it's going to be like time of possession is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be
6
I don't
and
know.
6.
We'll see. But then I think Jordan Love can also go out there and score in 4 plays. So it'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to pick the Packers, just because Desmond Ridder is, Desmond Ridder. And I don't think that they're going to, I don't think they have any confidence in him whatsoever. And Jordan Love looks like the next Packers quarterback so far. So those guys, can we hire someone from that front office to be our GM?
They're like the San Francisco, or they're like San Antonio Spurs. You go from Tim Duncan,
Yeah.
David Robinson to Tim Duncan. It never changes. Or the best way that Josh put it is just like when you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're wide receivers. They just do a really good job as far as like building them in a lab or something. And,
they have so much success.
So, all right. Seahawks and Lions. Speaking of disappointing games, we didn't touch on that one. The Seahawks laid an egg against the Rams.
Good.
I think the Lions are going to win this handedly.
I'm going Lions, big time.
I'm going with my 2 Starbucks gunshot and Dan Campbell. He makes me want to run through a wall.
2 Starbucks Ventis.
You know how much caffeine's in those?
Dude, he might not He might not live long enough to be the coach of the year. I'm scared.
I'll tell you, I'm definitely not lying with this one, but I'm definitely going to be going with the Lions over the Seahawks.
You should automatically get the Seahawks for that one.
Now, in the most, I don't want to say boring, boring game, you have Colts and Texans. Anthony Richardson against
this one's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be boring. I think the Texans side is gonna be boring. I think Anthony Richardson's gonna dice up the Texans.
Yeah,
he actually looked good.
He's looked good. He looked really good.
Yeah, I think this is the game the Colts see what they truly have. I'm going Colts.
Yeah, give me Colts.
Yeah.
I'm going those little ponies too.
Young Broncos.
I mean, every Colt grows up to be a Bronco, right? Which only means that Jonathan
until Anthony Richardson becomes a Bronco,
or Jonathan Taylor, right? That just seems to be the MO.
Nah. We don't need
it's got to be a quarterback.
All right. The other boring game, the Bears and Buccaneers. Although the Buccaneers are coming off a huge win.
Yeah,
I'm rolling with Baker. Bucks.
Give me pastry chef Baker Mayfield. I'm in agreement.
Did you guys watch Vita Vea just like own absolutely everyone on that offensive line when they played? I definitely think it's going to be probably the Bucks. Justin Fields, I don't know what's going to happen, but he's got to turn into some kind of a passer real quick.
I think that running back Justin Fields has a really good game against the Buccaneers.
Justin Fields.
And
probably score a rushing touchdown. And get 50 yards on the ground.
I do think maybe we get a little bit of a better performance, although for what they gave Luke, what Luke Getsy gave what was going on with Justin Fields at the midway point of last season, it looked nothing like that against the Packers. But so I'm kind of rolling with this one, and I think that the Bears. This is just a straight guess, but I'm going to go Bears over the Bucks.
Brave.
And then Giants and Cardinals.
Oh God.
Oh my Lord.
I'm gonna go Saquon.
It's gonna be
and the Giants.
It's gonna be a 0-0 tie.
I don't want to say Bumble, but I'm saying Bumble. So.
I'm going Giants. I mean, come on.
Me too. Cardinals are tanking, so
Yeah, I think this is a sweep. I'm
I
going
think it has
Giants.
to be. It
Yeah.
has to be the
Yeah,
Giants.
Now, the question isn't so much are the 49ers winning in this game? The question is just what is the score going to be? So last week it was 30-7, and they're playing the Rams.
Okay,
So
hold on.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know
man.
about
Hold
that
on.
one.
Hold on. Matthew Stafford looked like
Yeah.
old Matthew Stafford.
Aaron Donald is still alive.
Aaron Donald's there. Puka Nakua. Holy shit.
I'm going Niners, but I mean,
Bless
we
you.
can't discredit the Rams like that.
Yeah. What you talking about, Willis?
okay, so
Up.
Brandon.
Ask
Brandon
Geno
was
Smith
going,
how that defense went.
So
I'm
Brandon,
still picking the Niners, but
Brandon's
I
going
don't
the
think it's.
Ravens, okay.
No, I'm picking the Niners, but I don't think it's going to be the game you were describing. I think it's going to be close.
Okay.
yeah, give me Niners by 4.
How 4?
4.
He learns well from newspapers.
Yeah,
Jeez, why do you question me? Jeez.
4. Okay.
You can end a football game by 4. 24-20, 28-24. Come on, bro. Oh my god.
This 4 was so specific. It's like
Miss
you've
an
been
extra
sitting on
point.
that.
But so we're all going. We're going San Francisco. I think San Francisco wins 25-14. I'm joking. I figured since we're all going with obscure scores,
Jeez,
Yeah.
Cam, I picked 25.
you went with obscure. So I just,
He's following your lead.
Yeah. All right, so we're all going Niners. Let's see. Jets. The Zach Wilson led Jet. Oh Lord.
Yeah, Cowboys. It's just
I like
Cowboys.
Cowboys just.
I don't
get it
even
over
have to
with.
talk about it.
Yeah,
Cowboys.
Dan Quinn should have been the coach, but whatever.
He should have been, man. What were we thinking?
Sean Payton was the 47th pick in our coaching.
He was.
The Cowboys defense might be the top scoring anything in fantasy this next week.
Well, shit, they already did it. Can they top that?
No, I mean like of any position.
Dolphins and Patriots.
Where
This
is
one
it?
might be
Dolphins.
good.
Will it though?
Where is it, Cam? I don't remember.
It is in
It's
Foxborough.
at Patriots, yeah.
I'm gonna say it's an upset. I'm gonna say Patriots.
I'm gonna go Dolphins.
I'm going Dolphins. Because I mean the Patriots are going to go last in the division. So
I just want to be wrong so I can retire my podcasting career.
you already did.
Just gotta sign the paperwork.
I definitely think it's the Dolphins, and I think it's probably by a lot. I mean, Mac Jones looked surprisingly good, but
yeah, the relationship
I just
between
don't think
O'Brien
that
and
those
Mac
teams are
Jones.
close.
Yeah. Saints and Panthers.
Saints.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek
Yeah.
Carr looked nice now that I can say that confidently. He looked okay.
Bryce Young looked
Like a rookie. And then last game. The David Njoku led Cleveland Browns.
Couldn't you just say Nick Chubb?
Or Nick Chubb.
because Cam subscribes to running backs don't matter.
.com.
Browns and Steelers. Do the Steelers bounce back against the Browns?
Absolutely not.
They definitely don't.
Mm-mm.
Myles Garrett and the Browns.
Nick Chubb and the Browns.
I will say if there is any possible way that the Steelers upset the Browns is going to be because TJ Watt just blows everything up.
I was going to say Nick Chubb and the Cleveland Browns will lose to Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers led by George Pickens and a few others, of course, Pat Freiermuth as well.
Well, he was injured. Is he for sure
well,
playing?
I don't know, but the Steelers are winning.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I want Deshaun Watson to go 0-17, but I'm picking
He said
the
it.
Browns.
He said he who shall not be named.
See, I don't want to say his name. Hence
I
why
wasn't gonna say it.
I'll say it. That piece of shit.
Okay.
I'm not scared of saying he's a garbage.
All right. Well, guys, this was an absolute blast, man. It was, you guys are definitely, welcome to hop on with us, anytime. It was nice to get a chance to chop it up. Everybody in the chat, you guys you're awesome to, for diving in with us. It was great. I mean, and Eric, I gotta be honest, and I'm not, blowing smoke,
Oh God.
but like,
he's prepared.
Normally, when you start like that, it's gonna be really bad.
No, I'm not Nathaniel Hackett.
Hold on to your phone.
I'm not Nathaniel Hackett. I'm truly not blowing smoke. Okay.
Okay.
But like, you really killed it for a first time being on a podcast, man. Like, I mean,
Appreciate it.
you were probably better, when Josh started out and having his first time on a podcast. I would say you probably were better. You looked comfortable. I mean, you looked like you knew exactly what it is that you're talking about. I mean, your football. I mean,
Appreciate that, man.
Denise should be proud.
Nah, she's not. Trust me. You're about to get me. She's about to send me a text. She's like, "Tell that motherfucker."
You did really well tonight, man.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You guys kill it, man.
Fun.
Like I said, I listen when I can, but I mean, you guys granted me the opportunity. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. It was fun. It's just talking with the boys, and we got a whole chat down there, so it's fun stuff.
Again, thank you so much. Before we go, I don't know if anybody can get a chance to see our Twitter handles. Obviously, the show Twitter handle, is where I'm at, of course, with Manly Broncos and Cameron Parker PO. But Eric and Josh, why don't you let everybody know what your Twitter handle is so that people can personally stalk you on Twitter? And I don't mean that for porn bots and everything like that.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. It's just down there. It's emoney_14. You can find me. I follow Cam. I follow Brandon. Follow this dweeb. Yeah.
Nobody.
I do have some interesting tweets online too. Like, I am pretty negative for the Broncos, but I am pretty positive on Mondays. So you guys might need that in your lives.
Let's just say he's real.
I try to be. To be.
And one thing's for sure, he is not a Mr. Nobody, compared to
That's me. You can only have one Mr. Nobody, dude.
And Cam has seen me break a glass of beer at the DNVR. So yeah, he's got that on me too. Everyone. Don't let him tell you different.
Yeah, he did break the glass, and it wasn't like he went like full Hulk,
I wish I did. It would have been cooler.
Yeah. So,
No,
but Josh, what about you? Where can they follow you on social media?
Onlyfans.com/swole
We made it pretty far.
Hey. 1 hour 58 minutes.
Hey, I mean, it wasn't bad.
Oh man. But we're hiding that.
Oh my God.
For his OnlyFans.
Anyway, this was awesome, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
I agree.
Kevin says he changes too much for the OnlyFans.
Charges too much.
That was awesome, guys. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We started up obviously our pick'em. We'll try and keep tabs, of course, for Brandon and I. But thanks for keeping tabs. Hopefully, we can talk about a Broncos win, this coming week. So, but again, thank you so much, and Aaron. Yeah, appreciate it. It was great having you in the chat.
Appreciate you, Aaron. Thanks, man.
Yeah, big Mike as always. Thanks
Big
for
Mike.
I realize it's it's East Coast time, but again, thank you so much for sticking with us, for the chat. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much, and we're gonna let our outro breathe.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be